Hey everyone, Mike Rondo in the Shed of Solitude. This video, we're going to be talking about The Haunting here. Now I reviewed this well actually no, I did this in what year was this one? I can't tell. I think it was 2020. It says it right there, you dope. I need my glasses. But anyway, so a bit of panic. I couldn't find the tin. This is a tin, I've had it up here. So you can tell it ranks pretty high because this is kind of sort of in order. Well, it was at one point of which ones I like the best. But that's changed. This isn't exactly in order, but anyway. So The Haunting I really liked, and I did a second time around, I believe. So this is kind of like the last video, a revisit. I thought I had another tin of this, but it's missing. I don't know where, because I'm pretty sure I packed it in the Jeep when I was going to go to Sleepy Hollow, and I was going to bring that. That was one of the ones I was going to bring, but I found the jar after running around like a madman, and this is very cigar. Actually, what's funny here, yeah, you see I got, actually you can see a pretty good cigar leaf right there. It's kind of a fruity, fresh cut hay, maybe nutty, typical Virginia cigar leaf kind of blend. It's funny because this is pretty dry on the top, but now that I've dug through the jar here, which I probably should have did, it's pretty moist. Now, someone had asked me how does my tobacco keep in the shed, and I'll answer that in a second. But just so you know, this one here was actually in the house. It was in my little cabinet thing. And usually that's pretty decent because the basement's kind of, well, it's a basement, so it's kind of, there's humidity in there or whatnot. So it kind of stays pretty decent. That one, for some reason, it's kind of dry on the top, but it's not bad. But let's fire this up first. And of course, I'm doing the Stanwell Devil Pipe because it's the only one fitting for this blend. But anyway, back to what we were discussing. So, the tobaccos I have here in the shed actually do pretty well, for the most part. Now, I had some tobaccos over on this wall, and that was kind of a problem in the summer. Winter, not so much, but the reason why it was a problem in the spring and summer and early fall is because the sun beats on this wall right here. And I've said this in a video like 100 years ago. So it would dry out over here. I've since moved them over to the Shed of Solitude library and workbench over there, and there's like a place where I keep all my tobaccos, like a shelving thing in there. And that is kind of blocked. There's a fence, there's a tree. The sun doesn't hit that all that much, and it stays pretty good, all the tobacco that's over there. It's not too dry, it's not too wet for the most part. There are, every now and then, there's oddballs where it's dry or whatever. The ones in the jar stay better than the ones that I keep in the tin. And I have some in the tin. They do all right, to be honest. But for the most part, it's not too bad there. So in the winter, there's really no problem at all. It's nice and cool in here. No problems. I don't see it as a big deal. It works for me. Your mileage may vary in your shed smoking and whatnot. So I hope that answers his question. Maybe someday I'll do a more detailed video. Not that I think I can get really too much detail. Typical Virginia blend to me. It seems more Virginia now than cigar when I first got it. But I always love the smoke with this. It gives off such that, I always say, the haunting smoke, because it kind of lingers like a ghost. I realized that I haven't done squat for videos in this month, and Halloween's usually my big thing. I like Halloween and whatnot. So, but I do have some books I got today that I'm pretty excited about. And I got these. I hope you guys don't mind some book talk here. And I don't think you will. You pipe smokers. Most of us pipe smokers are readers anyway. So, first one I got, which I've read before, is the picture of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde, who I absolutely love his stuff. Even though he's a socialist later in life, I do like his stuff. It's interesting stuff. It makes you think. This is actually a really good book. And this is the Vintage Classics, the Red Spine, which I had to go to. I had to go to the UK to get these. I think these are like the UK covers. So this one, pretty excited about this one. I've read it already, so this is just kind of a library. It'll stay on the shelf. I'll read it again someday. I don't know when. And then this one, because I actually like the Doors. I think everyone, when they're from the 70s, 80s, 90s, well, even the 60s, because that's when they were around, the Doors, when you're a teenager, when you get to like 17, 18, 19, 20 and on, you get into the Doors a bit. At least in the old days. Now, I don't think so. I think kids today probably don't appreciate good classic rock. But anyway, so this has to do with, I don't know if it's true that this is where the Doors got their name. But anyway, this is from Huxley, The Doors of Perception. I had to get it just because of that. And Huxley has some interesting philosophical views and stuff. So that'll be fun to dive into at some point. And then this one, the book, this is the one I really wanted. This is why I ordered from the Book Depository, is because this is from Robert Yates, Disturbing the Peace. It's a very interesting story. And this cover is just awesome. I mean, it's just too bad he's not smoking a pipe. That would make the cover, like, awesome. But he's smoking a cigarette with a Zippo. I think it's a Zippo. It looks like a Zippo. So it's interesting anyway. So this one I had to get. This is the reason why I ordered from there. Anyway, look forward to that. And then this one I just kind of... I didn't even know this existed. A. Mill, The Red House Mystery. So I can't pass up a good mystery, especially from when it was written in the ye olden times, so to speak. And so I had to get that. Look forward to that. And then, of course, my favorite book, probably of all time, The Call of the Wild. Well, this has got the other story. This is White Fang. That's another good one. So Jack London, love Jack London, who has an interesting connection to the Jack the Ripper case because he did a book on the slums of Whitechapel. So, oops, pick that up. Anyway, back to pipe smoking. Oh yeah, very cigar now. It's very... Yep, this is so much better. Because getting a little bit too smoky in my face here. This is so much better than Scarecrow. This is a gem. This is probably one of my favorite, I guess, Halloween blend, or we calling it an autumn blend. This is probably right up there as a top one. But even smoking this throughout the year, like this was, and I want to say in 2020 this made my top 5. When I did my, I'll have to go back and watch that. Some of these videos I do them once, I never go back and watch them. So I get too much smoke in my face though. Fantastic. This, of course, you can't get this now. It's not available. I mean, I like the smoke and the wispy smoke that makes you think of a haunting or whatever, but it's got to go that way. It's like right in my face. This will be the one that gives me cancer. I shouldn't joke about that. But anyway. Yep, I got this in 2020. It smells good. I'd say it's more like a fruitiness to it. I don't know, but it's really good. So that's pretty much the review with that. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. I don't think you can get it. I mean, you could probably maybe find some from a trade or something like that if someone didn't like it, but I'm kind of regretting. I wish I wish I had the other tin, because I would have done what I did last video where I compared the old tin to the fresher tin, if you will. But anyway, and back to books real quick. So I read All Quiet on the Western Front, and that was a great book. I forgot how good it was, and it made me think of my dad and all the soldiers throughout history, you know, especially in modern war, so to speak, from World War I to present day, all those that happened. And it's funny, there's things in there that are said, that are things that my father has said, that people in general say, and like all soldiers, it seems to be universal. And I think that's why it's such a classic. But so I read that because I was very excited to see, because I like war movies, and so Netflix did a movie, All Quiet on the Western Front. That's what they did, and it's one of those movies that was like right there on being like Saving Private Ryan worthy, because it's beautifully shot, absolutely phenomenal. The effects too, with the blood and all that, how they did it was brutal. It was, and there's stab scenes, which there's one scene in all of film that freaks me out, was the stabbing scene in Saving Private Ryan. That always just, it freaks me out, which is crazy because I see Michael Myers knifing people. I see like Jason hacking people up, Freddy doing the thing. That doesn't bother me, you know, Scream. But for some reason, because it's a war movie and you get, it just hits differently, and that scene always freaked me out. But anyway, it was some of that, not as bad. It was just like on the cusp of being great. Like you had the moments, all right, it's going to be great, and they took liberties with the way the book is and the way the movie is, which wasn't bad. I think they honored the book really well overall, and there are points where they're dead on with the book, but there are other points where they kind of just pay homage to the book, and you kind of get the idea of where they're going with it, and it's a good thing. I think they did a great job relating the book to the movie in modern terms. I think they did a pretty good job with that. And it's always, World War I is always fascinating to me, in how that all, it's like just the beginning of modern warfare, and the carnage that really took place was just, awful, awful. And it only got worse from there, right? But definitely check it out if you can. And then the next thing I got into was, what is it? The Curiosity Cabinet, I think it's called, on Netflix. Like every day they're doing like a short, like I think 1 hour episodes of like Halloween type movies, or like Creep Show, or Tales of the Crypt type stuff. I love those things when I was a kid. I love that. And the first one was interesting. The gentleman that's in it, hold on, hold that thought for a second. I know we're going way off track with the blend, but listen, the blend's good. If you can find it, get it. You'll love it. I love it. Nothing else needs to be said. So, let's get into, let's see. Here we go. Let's see the cast. This gentleman, he's in everything. He's like a character. Tim Blake. This gentleman, right here, Tim Blake. We've all seen him. He's been in countless things as like a character actor. Sort of like a Steve Buscemi, but not quite. But he's kind of the lead in this. He may have been a leading man in other things, but I know I've seen him in just about many TV shows. He's one of those actors that he pops up constantly, and he's a good actor. But here he really shines, and I'm impressed. It's does a fantastic job. So check that out as well. The Curiosity Cabinet there. I recommend it. So far, it's only one episode. The rest could stink. I think there's like 8 episodes. So it's been kind of a nice Halloween treat. And currently, lastly, I'll finish up with this. I don't want to make this too long of a video because it was kind of a pipe review, and not a pipe review, a tobacco review of The Haunting, and I deviated every which way. But I'm reading, I got 2 chapters left of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the 1818 edit, if you will, the original book. And I gotta say, I guess this is another book review here. You get the All Quiet on the Western Front, and then we switch all the way to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And it's a good book, and I find it intriguing with the philosophical questions it provokes, which is, I didn't think that would be the case at all. I didn't think it was going to get, I don't want to say deep. It's not that deep, but it makes you think. And I was completely, in spoiler alert, if you haven't read the book, Frankenstein's monster, completely different than anything I grew up with. And I want to say I knew that because when they did the movie Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which I never saw, the monster is different than what we typically saw. But it's very interesting stuff. And I'm not sure if I sympathize with the monster. I'm not even sure if I sympathize with Frankenstein, because he's kind of an asshole. And then, of course, the monster does some deplorable things, so I'm not sure how I feel about either of them, but you can see their points of view. Interesting stuff for a book written in 1818. I'll say that. I love reading those old books and the way people thought and all that, and then you read it today with today's perspective. It's just an interesting thing. Some of the stuff in there you say, well, humanity hasn't changed much. We're still the same. I don't think that'll ever change, but fascinating stuff, and I'll leave it at that. But I'm almost done with that because I want to get into Dracula, but I'm not sure I'm going to get to that because I've been enjoying the season with all these little horror movie things, and I've been jumping into that, and so I haven't really. My goal was to read Frankenstein, get it over with. Not that I wanted to get it over. I was enjoying the book. It's been a fun read. But I wanted to get to Dracula. So Dracula I might not make it till Halloween. Or maybe I'll start on Halloween. I don't know. We'll see. But I will be doing a video on Halloween night, I think. I mean, it's tradition. Anyway. Ooh. Excuse me. Anyway, that's going to do it. Thanks for joining. I'll see you guys soon. I may do a video tomorrow. I don't know what on what. But anyway, I'm out of here. Take care. If I don't see you, have a happy Halloween.